Welcome to the Ghosts of Strategy channel, where we explore the deepest secrets of the intelligence world, dramatic spy conspiracies, and real stories that make you reflect. Today, we will delve into a case little known to the public, but with far-reaching impact on the Middle East conflict landscape: the mysterious death of Mahmud al-Khaled on an express train to Rome in 2010. This is not an ordinary murder or random accident, but the climax of a prolonged manhunt between Mossad, Israel's legendary intelligence agency, and Hamas, the Palestinian resistance organization. Mahmud, known by the nickname the Silent Engineer, was a strategic mastermind, and his death on Italian soil exposed an underground world where Europe became a battlefield for dark intelligence operations. Imagine that moment, October 15, 2010, on the Intercity 582 train, departing from Milan heading to Rome. Amid the bustling crowd, Italian businessmen with espresso coffee, European tourists photographing the Tuscan landscapes, and students hugging books, there was a Middle Eastern man about 43 years old sitting quietly by the window. He wore a dark suit, carried a shiny black briefcase, and held an Arabic book that looked like business documents. No one noticed him because he blended perfectly into the crowd. But just a few hours later, at the bustling Termini station in Rome, train staff discovered him dead in a locked toilet, his body rigid mouth foaming with white froth, and a strange sweet almond smell spreading in the cramped air. Italian police quickly arrived, initially recording it as a natural death, perhaps heart failure due to long-distance travel stress or chronic illness. No signs of violence, no weapons, no struggle. But upon deeper examination, the foaming mouth and almond smell suggested something darker: poisoning. The victim's initial identity was Mahmud al-Khaled, a businessman from Gaza, Palestine, with a valid passport and one-way train ticket. He carried business papers, a book on strategy, actually Machiavelli's The Prince, disguised with a fake cover to conceal it, and nothing suspicious. But through fingerprint checks and comparison with Interpol's database, the truth was revealed. Mahmud was not an ordinary businessman. He was a senior Hamas commander, an organization listed as terrorist by Israel and the US, but considered a resistance force by many Palestinians. Mahmud was on the top wanted list of Mossad, CIA, and European intelligence agencies for his key role in financing and organizing anti-Israel activities. His death was no accident, but the result of a sophisticated assassination campaign that turned Europe, the neutral continent, into an underground battlefield for the Israel-Palestine conflict. This incident is vivid proof of the secret war between the two sides. Mossad, with its famous history of assassinations like Operation Wrath of God after the 1972 Munich massacre, has expanded operations beyond Israel's borders to cut off the lifeblood of Hamas. In response, Hamas uses Europe as a financial and logistics hub where fake charities hide money flows from Iran and Qatar. Italy, with its central Mediterranean geographic position and dense rail system, became an ideal location for Mossad to carry out traceless operations. The assassination not only eliminated a key target, but also sent a message. There is no safe hiding place for Israel's enemies, whether in Gaza or Rome. In today's video, we will explore the case in detail from origin to consequences. We will learn about Mahmud's background, his activities, how Mossad hunted him, details of the assassination campaign, international reactions, and lessons learned. This is the story of the deadly precision of modern intelligence, where a drop of poison can change the dynamics of a decades-long conflict. Watch until the end to see how this case still affects the Middle East situation today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging content on intelligence history. Now let's begin with the case introduction section. The incident began on an ordinary autumn day in Italy in 2010, but quickly became a dark chapter in intelligence history. On October 15, the Intercity 582 train departed from Milan at 8 a.m., carrying hundreds of passengers heading to Rome. The train passed through stunning landscapes, from Milan's modern buildings through the lush green fields of Lombardy to the Tuscan hills with grapes and olives. Amid the diverse crowd, from busy businessmen on calls to tourists taking photos, was Mahmud al-Khaled sitting in second-class position near the window. He looked like a tired businessman wearing a black suit, wearing glasses, carrying a black leather briefcase, and holding an Arabic book. No one remembered him talking to anyone. He just sat still, occasionally looking out the window or coughing lightly. When the train arrived at Rome's Termini station around 11 a.m., a passenger knocked on the toilet door with no response. Train staff broke the lock and discovered Mahmud sitting on the toilet head, slumped on his chest, body rigid. His mouth was foaming, white eyes wide open, and a strange sweet almond smell spreading, a smell like cyanide or similar toxins. Italian police quickly cordoned off the area, collecting evidence. Initial records. The victim was Mahmud al-Khaled, 43-year-old businessman from Gaza with a valid Palestinian passport. He had flown from Istanbul to Milan the day before, stayed at a hotel near the airport, then boarded the train. The black briefcase contained business papers, contracts with fake Italian companies, and a business strategy book. No signs of violence, no wounds, no blood, no weapons. The initial forensic doctor concluded heart failure, perhaps due to stress or cardiovascular disease, common in middle-aged men. But the context of the incident made it not simple. Mahmud traveled alone with no contact with anyone on the train. The almond smell suggested toxins, as cyanide often has that smell, but preliminary analysis did not confirm. Foaming at the mouth indicated respiratory or neurological poisoning. Italian police checked Milan station cameras. Mahmud boarded alone, no one approached him. But when checking fingerprints and sendings to Interpol, the truth emerged. The fingerprints matched the profile of a Hamas commander wanted for terrorism financing. Mahmud was not a businessman. He was the silent engineer, managing Hamas's financial network in Europe. The death became the focal point of the secret war between Mossad and Hamas. Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, is famous for traceless assassinations, like the 2010 Mahmoud al-Mabhouh case in Dubai. They considered Mahmoud a major threat because he supplied weapons and money to Hamas, supporting attacks on Israel. This war took place on European soil, where Hamas used it as a safe backyard for money laundering and planning. Italy, with its dense public transport system and low surveillance, became an ideal location. The incident exposed how Mossad used fake identities and high technology to operate beyond borders, violating European countries' sovereignty. Mahmoud's death not only eliminated a target, but also sent a message to Hamas: Mossad can reach anywhere. Italy's initial investigation faced difficulties: no clear evidence, no witnesses. But organic mercury traces in the blood, a slow-acting toxin, suggested professional assassination. Interpol linked it to similar cases, pointing to Mossad. The incident became a diplomatic scandal, but Israel remained silent. This was the beginning of a series of events revealing the underground world of intelligence, where natural death is the sharpest weapon. Mahmud al-Khaled, background and role. Mahmud al-Khaled was not a prominent figure in the media, but he was the silent pillar of Hamas. Born in 1967 in Gaza City, in a middle-class Palestinian family, Mahmud grew up amid the violence of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Gaza at that time was a narrow strip of land on the Mediterranean coast, occupied by Israel after the 1967 Six-Day War. His father was a math teacher, his mother a nurse at the local hospital. They taught him the values of learning and resilience. But Mahmud's childhood was marked by tragedy. In 1975, when he was 8 years old, his older brother was killed in an Israeli military raid on the neighborhood. Images of destroyed houses, cries, and the smell of gunpowder smoke etched deeply into his mind, turning the obedient boy into a future resistance fighter. Mahmud excelled in studies from a young age, especially in mathematics and languages. At the local school, he led the class self-taught Hebrew through Israeli radio to understand the enemy. This helped him become a messenger from age 13, transferring messages between resistance groups through security fences. During the First Intifada, 1987, he participated in stone throwing and protests, but quickly realized the power of intellect over violence. In 1988, he joined the newly formed Hamas not as a fighter, but as a strategist. Mahmud's career in Hamas was a journey from messenger to the silent engineer. He built a weapons transport network from Egypt through Sinai tunnels, using mathematics to calculate optimal routes, avoiding Israeli radar. By the 2000s, he became a financier, managing millions of dollars from Iran, Qatar, and Arab donors. He established a decentralized network using fake charities in Istanbul and Damascus to transfer money disguised as humanitarian aid. The nickname al-Muhandis al-Samit came from his secrecy. He avoided crowds, recorded everything in self-created encryption based on mathematical algorithms and calculated risks, like an engineer building a bridge. Personal traits made Mahmud a legend. He was highly disciplined, taciturn, with little emotional expression, viewing conflict as a science where every decision is an equation. He once said, "War is not emotion, but control." He lived simply, avoided marriage to protect his family, traveled with 27 fake identities. Key role: financing. The 2006 Gilad Shalit kidnapping, helping Hamas exchange prisoners in 2011, and coordinating with Hezbollah for training. Mahmud was not an extremist. He was a product of his environment where violence was daily reality. From a Gaza boy, he became the architect of resistance, using Europe as a springboard, establishing shell companies in Milan for money laundering, making Hamas more resilient against Israeli blockades. Mahmud represented a smart generation of Hamas leadership, not street fighters. He studied economics remotely, applying knowledge to diversify funding sources from Bitcoin to stocks. This put him in Mossad's crosshairs, viewing him as the most dangerous brain for superior organizational ability, not wielding a gun, but pulling strings from afar. Activities and pursuit. Mahmud al-Khaled's activities were the main reason he was relentlessly hunted by Mossad. As the silent engineer, he coordinated complex weapons supply routes through the Sinai Peninsula, using underground tunnels kilometers long to transport Katyusha rockets, AK-47 rifles, and explosives from Egypt into Gaza. These tunnels, designed by him with geological calculations and radar evasion, became a lifeline for Hamas in conflicts like Operation Cast Lid 2008-2009. Mahmud not only transported, but also financed using international banking networks to transfer millions of dollars from Iran through accounts in Turkey and Lebanon. A prominent activity was the 2006 kidnapping of Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit. Mahmud planned the finances, provided money to the executing group, and negotiated the 2011 prisoner exchange, freeing 1,000 Palestinians. He used multiple fake identities, from Turkish businessman to Italian investor, to move safely through Europe and the Middle East. Mahmud avoided detection by randomly changing routes, using disposable phones and meeting partners in public places like Istanbul cafes or Athens parks. He also coordinated with Hezbollah in Lebanon for tactical training and set up fake charities in Europe to hide money flows, supporting not only military but also schools and hospitals in Gaza to bolster public support. Mossad's pursuit began in the early 2000s when Mahmud entered the Tiet list, high-level assassination targets. Mossad saw him as a major threat as the financial brain, providing lifeblood for rocket attacks on Israel, causing civilian casualties. Mossad's Kidon unit, specializing in assassinations, tracked him via satellites, phone taps, and insider sources in Hamas. Mahmud escaped death multiple times due to caution. In 2008 in Athens, an electric shock through a hotel phone disguised as food poisoning. He survived by checking devices first. In 2009 in Istanbul, thallium-soaked documents made him seriously ill, but he detected it early thanks to self-taught chemistry knowledge. Mossad continuously improved tactics, using mini-drones for tracking phone hacking software and new toxins like dimethyl mercury, slow-acting, hard to detect. This hunt was part of Israel's strategy to eliminate the trigger hand, aiming to break Hamas leadership at the root. Mahmud knew he was hunted, so he enhanced security, checking hotel rooms with bug detectors, avoiding public eating and drinking, and changing schedules hourly. But Mossad's persistence with a multi-billion-dollar budget and global network ultimately led to the decisive 2010 campaign. This was a battle of wits between a smart individual and a giant intelligence machine. Assassination campaign. The assassination campaign against Mahmud was Mossad's masterpiece, proving sophistication in covert operations. Codenamed Cedar Mirror, derived from the cedar tree symbolizing Israeli strength. The campaign was led by the Kidon unit, aiming to eliminate Mahmud without traces. Preparation began in August 2010 when an insider source in Istanbul confirmed Mahmud's arrival in Milan to meet financial partners. Mossad deployed 3 professional agents: Martin Weiss, team leader, posing as a German businessman; 35 years old surveillance specialist Clara Roth, posing as a French journalist; 28 years old toxin specialist; and Daniel Levy, posing as an Italian engineer; 40 years old technology specialist. They arrived in Milan separately via different flights using fake passports from stolen European citizen identities, tracking Mahmud via hidden cameras installed in the Milan hotel, mini GPS devices attached to his rented taxi, and eavesdropping on disposable phones. Mossad selected the toxin dimethyl mercury, a colorless liquid slow-acting within 24-48 hours, causing heart and respiratory failure without clear traces in standard autopsies. The poison was contained in a spray disguised as deodorant, remotely activated via Bluetooth. The campaign was approved at high Mossad levels with contingency plans if it failed. Execution took place on the Intercity 582 train on October 15th. Clara Roth boarded first in Milan, sitting 2 seats away from Mahmud, pretending to read a newspaper. She installed the poison spray device under his seat, a compact mechanism that released a fine mist when activated. As the train passed through Lombardy, Martin Weiss remotely activated it via an encrypted app. The poison spread through the air, Mahmud inhaled it, thinking it was train smell. He began coughing, lightly drank water from his personal bottle, but continued reading. Near Florence, the toxin gradually took effect. Heart racing, breathing difficult. Mahmud entered the toilet to vomit, but paralysis set in, quickly dying without calling for help. No signs of struggle as the toxin caused nerve paralysis. Perfect withdrawal. Clara left the train at Florence, walked to another station, and flew to Paris. Martin and Daniel left at Rome, erased phone data, and flew to Zurich, then Tel Aviv. The device self-destructed with dripping acid evidence, vanished. The death was recorded as heart failure with no initial suspicion of espionage due to perfect disguise. The campaign succeeded through precise coordination, proving Mossad's superiority in modern assassinations. The consequences of the assassination spread widely, from local investigations to international tensions. Initial discovery through autopsy in Rome, forensic doctors found high levels of organic mercury in the blood, suggesting poisoning, but no clear source. Italian police checked Mahmud's luggage, fake papers, encryption in the book, but no direct links. Interpol identified him via fingerprints, confirming Hamas ties. Milan station and train cameras showed 3 suspicious agents: Weiss, Roth, Levy, but fake passports and disappearance thwarted tracing. Italy launched an investigation but lacked cooperation from Israel. International reactions were fierce. Hamas declared Mahmud a martyr, organizing a symbolic funeral in Gaza, with thousands attending, accusing Israel of violating international law by assassinating on third country soil. Hamas leaders like Ismail Haniyeh called it a war crime, vowing revenge. Israel remained silent per its neither confirm nor deny policy, but internally viewed it as a major success. Italy was outraged, seeing its territory exploited as an intelligence backyard, increasing surveillance on Mossad and Israeli embassies. Europe tightened security. The EU held a conference on foreign intelligence operations, suspecting Mossad after a similar Dubai incident. Long-term impacts: Hamas restructured its European network, replacing Mahmud with younger but less disciplined leaders, leading to temporary financial losses. Israel solidified its global hunt image, but diplomatic tensions with the EU rose, leading to international probes and visa restrictions for Israeli personnel. The incident also exposed European security gaps, promoting counter-terrorism cooperation. The assassination of Mahmud demonstrates the ruthless nature of secret warfare. Mossad used high technology and fake identities to eliminate targets with deadly precision. This is part of the eliminate the trigger hand strategy, regardless of location, reaffirming Israel's global capabilities. Mahmud is a symbol of modern warfare, combining finance strategy and espionage. His death did not end but opened a new generation of Hamas leadership, less calculated but more aggressive. The underground intelligence world is revealed. An invisible system where decisions are made through encrypted papers. Ethics fade before national interests. The incident reminds of the risks of covert operations on foreign soil, prompting European countries to improve security and intelligence cooperation. The death of Mahmud al-Khaled is a silent message from Mossad. There is no safe hiding place for Israel's enemies, whether in Gaza or Europe. The incident reflects the complex Israel-Palestine conflict, where war occurs through bank accounts, fake identities, and traceless deaths. Though successful, it only complicates the underground war, further leaving a legacy of revenge and enduring secrets.